Which PERQUE products would you recommend for night terrors?
Hmm. Important question. Generally, night terrors, mostly we think of something that happens in children, generally between the ages of 3 and 9, in that so-called latency development period. But by the way, night terrors can happen to older people. Night terrors are almost always the following. From a neurochemical point of view, night terrors mean that the vitamin C levels go down, the adrenaline levels go up, and more importantly, because the ascorbate levels fall, the oxidation of adrenaline and noradrenaline to their oxidation products, adrenochrome, for example. Now, adrenochrome is a very interesting molecule. It's adrenaline taken to an oxidation state by adding oxygen to it. And my friend and colleague, Dr. Abram Hoffer, was a physician biochemist in the 1950s, and he was studying the effects of neurotransmitters on mood and perception. And he had a chemist make adrenochrome in a very pure form. He injected it into himself. Now, today, I don't think you would do that experiment, but he often told the story of injecting adrenochrome into himself, and for 3 days, when he went to sleep, he had night terrors, and when he was awake, he was looking over his shoulder more than he should. He was anxious more than he should. He was more pessimistic and depressed than he should. And he kept saying to himself, Abram, you're a damn fool for taking that adrenochrome. It'll wear off. It's not you. So when we hear of night terrors in children, usually what that means is a lack of antioxidants. So just have them take, well, kids can do a C cleanse, but it's a little, to engage with them to do it is a little complicated. But absent a C cleanse, if you just give a half a teaspoon of ascorbate to most children in a beverage that they like, after dinner and before bed, it will significantly reduce night terrors. You can use Mood Guard in youngsters who have night terrors. Sometimes it's remarkably helpful. From a psychological point of view, and I have mixed feelings about this, but from a psychological point of view, night terrors indicate some kind of conflict. Some children benefit a lot from having a very gentle massage. In some cultures, and we did this with Anna and Sky, children are entitled to a daily baby massage. The baby has a good time, you very gently rub the skin, sometimes with ghee or shea butter or something that makes the skin glow and be healthier. And when such children, and sometimes they do, develop night terrors, very often the culture says, massage them, touch them. Make sure that their skin is adequately stimulated. Make sure that their whole body is engaged in the process of preparing for restful, restorative sleep, not disturbed, agitated, and night terrors kind of sleep. Now, the speech part is that very often people want to ask children who have night terrors what is bothering them. And generally, they have no idea. It's not something at any awareness or conscious level. It's something either at a psychological or more commonly at a molecular biology, chemistry level. So in night terror situations, I recommend starting with the chemistry and then adding whatever is necessary. Sometimes children, for example, if they do a hatha yoga routine in the evening before going to bed, where you stretch the entire body in a gentle way, or Tai Chi, or anything that is fun for them. Very important that this not be a burden, but it's something that they enjoy doing. But it also stretches and stimulates the lymphatic flow, the parallel vascular flow parallel to the bloodstream, so that Waste products can be taken away from cells, nutrients can be delivered to cells, and therefore, when you go to sleep, the cells aren't, in a metaphoric sense, asking for rapid removal of toxic metabolic matter. Please bring more nutrients now, we need them. That's the scenario for night terrors. The anti-night terror scenario is you get the bad stuff out and the good stuff in, sufficient for deep and restorative sleep and rest, and the night terrors just go away. Now, I did mention that sometimes near the very end of life, and sometimes when people are doing a life review, they will have night terrors. In my dad's case, he was a child who was hungry at night because the family didn't have enough to eat because they were poor. And his mother used to tell him, oh, the sound of the rumble in your tummy is just a sign that you're alive. Or anyway, she would make up things to make him feel better. Near the very end of his life, and I had the privilege of being with him at the end, he had night terrors. And I did for him what I would do for a youngster who has night terrors. We increased his intake of ascorbate, we touched him more, we laughed with him more, and that helped. So night terrors in children, addressable. Usually they outgrow it on their own. Night terrors in the long-lived, possible. Don't be surprised. And I hope that addresses the question of how to be respectful of a child's development, how to let them speak their truth, while understanding that most of the night terrors have nothing to do with parenting, nothing to do with the environment and toxins, although they may, but usually have much more to do with the internal biochemistry that you can manage by the Joy of Living the Alkaline Way approach.